Hi, my name is Angelica Gonzalez, and I looked at the weather for January 25th to the 30th of this year, and it was a little bit colder, which made recording the temperature much more pleasant, needless to say. So we'll be looking over at the weather first, and I'll go over the location again where I observed my weather, and then we're going to go more into kind of focusing on the temperature this week as well, and I did those observations on February 2nd, 2015. So again, I did my observations off of Farmer's Loop, kind of up in the hills, and the time I did my observations were earlier in the morning, just because that was the time I had available. So a lot of my time was from as early as 7:30 in the morning, as late as about noon in the afternoon. So again, as I stated, I did my first day of observations on the 25th of January, and I ended them on the 30th of January. So on the first day, being that really kind of extreme cold, and I did this at 8 in the morning, the temperature I observed was about 37 degrees below, and it hit a max of about 42 that day. The overall average was a negative 38. And because the sun wasn't really up yet, it was really kind of hard to see kind of the sky, but it was a pretty clear day, or a pretty clear morning, and there was no fog or no precipitation that I could tell with it being so dark. So then on the 26th, the average temperature for that day was negative 36. At the time I was observing the temperature, it was negative 35. Again, no real precipitation, clear skies as far as I could have seen. The following day, we had an average of negative 36 on the 27th. This is when you started seeing a little bit more of a fog up at my location where I'm observing my weather. My glasses were pretty foggy coming in and out, trying to keep warm. So that was really nice. So the only precipitation I saw was from me fogging up my glasses. But overall precipitation pretty low, clear skies, not clear, but a few scattered clouds as far as I could see. So then on the 28th, we saw, this is when it started getting really, really cold. And the temperature I saw at the moment was negative 39, and our average was negative 40. And this is where it was not fog in the hills, but going into town, definitely you started seeing more fog around the area. No real precipitation again. Because of the fog, it made seeing things a little bit harder. And again, these are all very early in the morning so far, my observations. So, pretty dark still. No, the sun's not even rising at the time. So then, 29th, I observed at 9 in the morning, and it started warming up a little. So we got the average temperature for that day was negative 33. So then on the 30th, my last day I did my observations, we had a pretty significant kind of climate change, or temperature change. My observation was at negative 20, and our average of temperature that day was about negative 21. So that was pretty awesome, and it kind of, gave us a little boost of warm weather. So the one thing that I started noticing with the barometric pressure and was that we started seeing, as the temperature started getting colder, we saw a higher increase of this, and unfortunately for me, I misplaced those. I didn't take the barometric pressure all the time. I kind of just forgot. But, even as we can see with the demonstration that was provided by our instructor, you can see as temperatures definitely, as they increased or it got colder, we definitely saw an increase of the weather or of the barometric pressure. And as it got warmer, you can even see towards down the 30th, it started dropping a little bit as it got closer to the 2nd as well of February. So as stated earlier, there was hardly any precipitation during the week of my observations, just because it was just due to this really cold weather. And you can definitely see where Alaska is highlighted in the light blue, where there really wasn't any precipitation, and we definitely got some pretty cold winds coming up from towards the west of Alaska, and a lot of our, it was a lot colder up north and in more centralized, pretty even out weather and a lot of fog. Just because in my station, just being a little bit above the hills, in the hills, not as much fog, but definitely driving into town, you definitely did get that fog. Not extremely bad, but we did see it, and there was, as you can see, there's definitely light snow towards more of the east side of central Alaska. So not towards us, but there's definitely fog, and it definitely did move towards us, and we definitely saw that. So this is the first day of my observation, as I stated. So as you can see, when it started getting later on in the week, we definitely did see a temperature change, and it did get a little bit warmer. You can see that it's actually snowing up north. We're getting higher temperatures. We're getting kind of a cold gust up from southeast. We're definitely seeing that happening right there. Cold air not coming towards us anymore, going towards Russia. So we definitely did see a change in our weather, but as we all know, during that we had that fairly nice weekend where it was only about -17 and maybe an average of -20, I believe, throughout the whole weekend. And it didn't last very long. Definitely started seeing that -30, -40, and having to start our vehicles for a little bit longer, which was just wonderful. So, when you fuel up on a Friday and then you have to fuel up again on a Tuesday with your vehicle, that's always really fun to do in the cold. So as stated before, it did get a little bit colder during the first week of February, definitely on the 2nd when I started doing the worksheet. I believe the average that day was -30. So, and when I did that, when I was doing my worksheet, it was 8 at night. So we definitely did have a switcheroo over the weekend where it went from kind of looking hopeful for being a little bit warmer weather to where if you saw your phone, definitely broke your heart a little. So, but here's to hoping that this week will be a little bit warmer, and the weather on my app looked pretty hopeful, so I will be posting about that next week.